What's up everybody, this is Ven bringing you another MOC Spotlight where we take apart what you build. For today's episode we'll be taking a look at the Hermit, created and posted to our message boards by vampirebohrok. Now before we get started, let me of course remind you of my method of reviewing, which involves a point system that is based on 3 fundamental attributes: the overall appearance of the MOC, the build of the MOC itself, and the concept and ideas behind the MOC's creation. Each quality will mount up to 5 points, leading up to a final score that will be determined at the end of the episode. And please remember that this is all based on my opinion, so let's get this started. It's Megatron. Autobots, roll out. Okay, no, it's not Megatron, but what we do have here is this big, creepy-looking humanoid figure with some slightly exaggerated proportions, which, coupled with some other unsettling yet very menacing characteristics, make for an immediately distinguishable appearance. And of course, the first thing that caught my attention really was this head. Just look at this head. What's up with all these MOCs I've been seeing lately with these crazy, cool, custom heads? Ooh, I think I just invented a new term. Triple C heads. Crazy, cool, and custom. But yeah, I'm really digging the shape and just this intimidating look that the head has to it. Not to mention just how detailed it is, especially when taking into consideration just how detailed this MOC is overall. I mean, look at this big, brutish body. Like, it looks hefty and complex. It just looks like there's some real meat under all this armor. Unfortunately, very monotonous armor. Like, everything you see here is basically just gunmetal and black, which is a bit too plain for my tastes. And you know, I'm kind of thinking this MOC could use a bit more gold or dark blue, as there is some gold on this MOC here on the head, and there is this dark transparent blue here in the chest for some reason. It definitely looks interesting, but it's kind of random that this is literally the only portion of the MOC that has this blue in there. And it's not even like armor or anything, it's just this blue apparatus in his chest. Like if it was his heart. Maybe it is the thing's heart. I don't know. It definitely doesn't look bad, it just makes me wish that there was a bit more blue somewhere in the body, because I feel like it would act as a very neat looking highlight color. Something that would really break the monotony of this all black and gunmetal color scheme. But again, what this MOC truly has going for it in terms of looks is just the sheer amount of detail put into the head and the body and just everything. Everything about this MOC has a lot of detail. I'm loving it. I mean, just look at this back view of the MOC and you can truly appreciate just all the little greebles and armor pieces that make up the bulk of this MOC. Like, it's usually a big complaint that I have when it comes to actual official Bionicle sets and the like, is that they lack back armor, and yet this guy's got like full coverage. It looks really cool. Like, he's ready for some big robo wrestling with his whole titanic stature and whatnot. But I gotta say, the part about this MOC that's easily the best part for me is the build. Just this construction is so solid, and it looks to be mostly comprised of CCBS elements, which I gotta say, it's really impressive just how well this worked out. Like, the MOC turned out looking so clean and so well-rounded, and yet it's also obviously decently complex. Like, this wasn't your ordinary snap a couple bones together and slap some shells on it. Like, this is some serious business what we have here. And the MOC also maintains a fairly standard range of motion. You know, you got articulation in the shoulders, arms, knees, elbows, fingers, neck. It is built to be a great figure. Like, you can pose it and play around with it and such. But it is worth noting that there are no actual play features or functions integrated into the MOC, which to me is a bit of a shame because, well, there is a function, just not really a play feature type of function. But it's still a really cool function. These eyes are actually not in a fixed position. You can actually move them up or you can move them downward by flipping a switch on the back of the head. And man, that is some creative stuff right there. As great as this build is, the MOC all in all just feels a bit empty, especially when you consider that this MOC is supposed to be Makuta, the big bad of Bionicle. As it is, yes, another MOC that was entered in LEGO's Rebrick contest that was held recently that challenged builders everywhere to create their own rendition of the big bad Makuta after he puts on the mask of ultimate power and transforms into whatever you could imagine, right? And look, I know this is like the 4th or 5th MOC that I've reviewed that was built for this contest, but I mean, what can I say? That's all people have been posting lately. It's like the unofficial month of Makuta. I'm gonna tell you right now, there's plenty more where that came from, but anyway, back to this Mach right here. I will say that I can see it as Makuta. I can see it as his final form, his big, evil, powerful form. Because honestly, my first impression of this Mach was that it looked like someone on Michael Bay's design team took a crack at redesigning Makuta for an upcoming Transformers movie. You know, it reminds me of Megatron mixed with Makuta, and I actually really like that because it's like the combination of two evils from two different worlds put together to make this big, powerful, brooding, dark, and mysterious Shadow Titan, which is a description that I personally would affiliate with Makuta. And again, I do think it's a bit of a shame that the Mach doesn't have any function or really any sort of play feature like a staff, some kind of weapon thrown onto him aside from these claws, because, well, if you weren't going to change this Mach at all and just leave it as is, there's nothing truly defining about it. Like, as a personal reinterpretation of Makuta, it looks great. But aside from its impressive size and complexity, it doesn't really offer much new to the table. You know, there's no other defining characteristics aside from the head, which truly is defining and full of character, but take that away and you got this big gunmetal titan thing with nothing else going for it, aside from the blue bulge in the chest, which I don't know what that is, you know? So really, what I am getting at is that if I saw this Makuta with like a staff, a big hammer, a retractable blade, at the very least just something that will make it a lot more clear to me that this is supposed to be the big bad of Bionicle, and that he has some kind of tool or something to show that he has a lot of power, literally in like the palm of his hands. But hey, you know, all that aside, what the builder actually had in mind was to achieve the appearance of Makuta's 2003 Shadow Titan form, while at the same time retaining some aspects of his newer Mask Maker character. And at the very least, I can say I could totally see it, dude. You did a great job modernizing that Shadow Titan form, but I do feel that my personal issues with this Mach would totally be alleviated if it did take more inspiration from the G2 character, which had a more defining color scheme. He had the hammer. You know, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm getting at? I hope you do, because I'm tired of explaining myself and I'm sick of this video, so we're gonna end it pretty soon after I go over the scores. So in terms of appearance, this Mach receives a 4 out of 5. Loving the size, loving the proportions, loving the detail, not really loving the monotonous color scheme. Like, this color scheme should not compete with my voice for monotony. But overall, as it is, it looks great. In terms of the build, the Mach receives a 5 out of 5. I can't really complain much in this area. It's a very solid build. Everything's put together quite nicely, just kind of packed in like a I don't know, sausage. Because, well, isn't a sausage or like a hot dog like just condensed meat? That's what this Mach looks like. It's like condensed meat, if condensed meat was like a totally posable action figure. And in terms of the concept, this Mach receives a 4 out of 5 because, well, do I really need to go over that again? Okay, fine. It's a great Shadow Titan Mach that could use a bit more defining characteristics to truly represent Makuta, but nonetheless, it is a great effort, and I can still see it as a possible form for Makuta. And with all that said, we have our final score, which adds up to a 13 out of 15. Great job, vampirebohrok. I wish you luck in the contest. Hopefully you and the other people I've spotlighted win something. You know, that'd be pretty great, because then I can say that I've reviewed a winner before they actually won, like I was some kind of hipster. And I do hope to see more out of you. Same goes for you viewers. Please post to our message boards at board.ttvpodcast.com under the LEGO Creations category, because that is where you are welcome to share your mocks with me, the podcast crew, and all the other LEGO fans contributing to the message boards. And in doing so, you also earn yourself a very high possibility of being featured on the MOC Spotlight in the future if I find your mock to be creative and or interesting. So hey, you want that attention that you think you deserve? You gotta do it, man. Or woman. Post to the message boards. And until then, I thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.